All right, locker room. Now I want to talk to you guys about what I saw that was hot around the National Football League in preseason one. My first thoughts of what I saw today, and probably the big news that comes out this weekend. Two things that I thought was interesting is certainly the battle for quarterback, starting quarterback, in the battle of the two quarterbacks for the Cleveland Browns, in the battle for the two quarterbacks, because these are two different quarterbacks. But with two very, I say different, I would say very unique stories. I'll say it this way. That's the cleanest way I can say it. Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders. Oh, look at the stories that are going to be told about that quarterback room right now. We don't know where it ultimately goes, but even thinking about the stories that are going to be told about this quarterback room, Deshaun Watson, the great play. Deshaun Watson was nibbling on the heels of Patrick Mahomes before the situation. That's what we call in the White House. Everybody has had a situation. Before his situation, he was, I'm telling you people that don't know, it was not one Patrick Mahomes, two Deshaun Watson. It was one A Patrick Mahomes, one B Deshaun Watson. That's the tightness of that race. Prior to him departing Houston, the race with Patrick Mahomes is basically neck for neck. Now, whoa, what a step. What a huge step in the wrong direction. And I'm not talking about the things that he got involved with, that he had going on off the football field and all that stuff. That's something that tore up the inside of him. But I'm saying the football side of him, it was such a bear. And I believe, because having gone through things like that, I know the weight it puts on you. Sooner or later, your body cracks under that kind of pressure, trying to mitigating your mind what everybody's thinking of you after hearing all these stories and all of these, it messes with you, and your body starts breaking down. And Deshaun Watson started having a lot of injuries, but it wasn't only his mind and then his body. He lost his confidence. And he just couldn't play anymore. Now, I added to this because I said, guys, remember they started putting in that Stefanski offense in Cleveland, and it's such a wordy offense. It's just so much. And if you're thinking too much and not your natural talent is taking over, then you can really struggle in offenses like that, because you're thinking too much and you're not naturally just playing. As I tell people, I've only studied it a week when we did it at Pro Bowl, but I hated it. I couldn't pick it up, not in a week. Troy got it pretty good. He's smart dude. Troy, and he would tell me, Michael, run this, run that. I said, okay, I got you, because I just couldn't get all that wordage. So, I worried for Deshaun Watson and, honestly, Shedeur Sanders. I don't like all of this, that worrying for Shedeur Sanders. As a matter of fact, I know he didn't like it. I knew he didn't like it. Because, sometimes, some people want to work the most efficient way to get it done. Can I just say this and say this, do this? And so, when you get too worried, it gets too much, and it just overwhelms me. I don't like it. I like it to be straight, clean, and give it to me. Boom, let me go. And I know that's how he likes it. In this offense that Todd Monken has him in, and I think I said it before, you guys. I think it's better for Deshaun Watson and better for Shedeur Sanders. But now, what you'll see is Stefanski tried to rob Shedeur of all of his athletic ability and make him a pure pocket passer, to just discern where the ball goes and get it out. You see, Tom Munkin comes from Lamar Jackson, who understood and built this kind of similar offense, but built it with a little bit more of a mobile quarterback, a little bit more discretion to move with the quarterback position, because that's what Lamar did. You see what I mean? And now he's doing that here. So that's why you see Deshaun Watson now having this little resurgence. Because now the game that Coach Munkin is calling is more suitable for the athlete that he is, like Lamar Jackson was, and honestly, Shedeur Sanders. So that's why I think that's going to be a good little battle right there. But ultimately, if Deshaun Watson get back to what Deshaun Watson was, and say you said, oh, okay, he won the job, but he got back to nibbling where he was, like nibbling on the heels of Patrick Mahomes. That's not a horrible thing for Shedeur Sanders to sit right there and then learn and pick that up for a year or two. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. That's the interesting battle right there. You know, each has a story. We know Shedeur Sanders' story. Look at Shedeur's story. Yeah. What he accomplished in college, what he did everywhere he went, he made it better. My pup's arguing up at somebody back there. I don't know. But everywhere he has gone, he has made it better. And he has gone to Jackson, Colorado, and they were in terrible spots. And now he went to Cleveland, another terrible spot, I'll be honest with you. That whole story and that journey is so, you know, it's a hell of a story. So that thing, going on in Cleveland is what I think is going to be worth watching all through this preseason. Interestingly enough, you know, Deshaun Watson did play pretty well. He played pretty well. One thing I did notice, though, and I said to myself, you notice when the fumble, when he went back to throw the ball, I don't know, maybe somebody hit his hand. It just looked like that ball kind of slipped out his hand. And what it says to me sometimes is, okay, are you really over whatever you need to be over mentally, because that guy was, you know, are you scared here? Have you handled that pocket? Because sometimes you'll play right there in that area and you just get gun shy. He hasn't been out there in a while like he has been. He's been hurt so much. So somebody comes close to you, you start your body. Remember how I tell you guys why I catch like this instead of like this? Because when someone comes close to you, your body naturally tightens up. And I can't squeeze the ball. And that's what it looked like with Deshaun Watson. Like when he went back and the guy came around there right in, he kind of froze up and he couldn't squeeze the ball, and the ball left his hand. I'm just saying. I know it was the first week one of a preseason, simple defenses, everything easy. But when pressure came around, I felt that froze. I felt that freeze. That is what you got to watch for the rest of this preseason with Deshaun Watson. And that's what you got to also watch as we watch this battle between Watson and Sanders. Shedeur today made some great, nice plays, but also had one ball kind of sail, and it's interesting. It's interesting in this point because this is what it is. Like the one ball that sailed on Shedeur for the interception. If you go back and look at it, it's a difficult throw. It's about a 7 when you say difficult throw, about a 6-7. That's what people say, 6-7. But you got to get the ball up and down. Now, and he can get it up and down, but you got to follow through to get it up and down. It has to be, to get the ball up, boom, and down. It has to be a follow through. Now, what Shedeur did was the guy came right up in his face, and he saw the opening. He was trying to get the ball up and get it up, boom, so it comes down. So he kind of lifts, but it sails on you because you can't follow through. He couldn't follow through. You got to follow through. He couldn't follow through because the dude came right up in his face, and the ball sailed, and he got an interception. He'll sit there and say, man, I got to follow through with that. I had enough room to follow through with it, but somebody's right here. You don't want to hit your hand on his hand and hurt your hand. It's a preseason game, everything. So, yeah, you'll see that. That's all I got to say about that. That's what I thought was interesting and watching that battle.